Pollo Loco's out, baby.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. Welcome to Cool Ranch Corner, episode 53. 53. I think we're gonna have Giancarlo on by himself for 55. I think that'll be a good idea.
That sounds good.
Now that Pollo Loco's out, it'll be fun to talk to him like one-on-one or two-on-one. You hear that, Giancarlo? Three-way. No, I'm just kidding.
Whoa!
We got some really interesting stuff to talk about. I have to make it to a Joker 2 showing, and I have a very elaborate TikTok involving Laguna Burger, which is one of our new favorite burger spots here, to work on. So let's get to it, baby. Chris says, I have a Google Doc sheet and I put this week's life updates, and every week we put stuff there, and 9 times out of 10 Chris is like, nothing, busy week at work.
Yeah.
Bro, slaving. All right, so first of all, Pollo Loco is out. Gonna be talking about that in a little more detail here in a second, because I got some fun stuff to share about it. Some good news. But my screenplay is officially finished. It is 85 pages. I sent it off to my manager. I sent it off to my cinematographer. I sent it to Ben. He shared it with his roommate, who's also a writer, who, it's just the more feedback from serious writers, the better. So fingers crossed, baby. I'm hoping by the end of this year, we're going to have a producer attached and be getting that bitch into pre-production. Once we have a producer officially attached, I'm calling it pre-production, which means we're looking for the funding. And we're talking, I would like to shoot this summer. If not, we're gonna have to shoot during we have the shooting schedule is gonna be tricky because we have to shoot at a school track for 3 days, 3 or 4 days at just a school track. There's training montages, bunch of intense shit, basically a full week of shooting at a school, and so.
Well, that's a really poor choice of words, man.
Photography at a school. God damn, that's dark. But anyways, we're shooting at a football field with a track, and so we got to make sure it's not being used. You know what I mean? And that's the tricky thing. Working around the school schedule. Yeah, baby. And also, the school that we're looking at shooting at was the SHIELD headquarters in the first Avengers movie, which is just a really cool thing, right?
That's really cool. Yeah.
It's a cool flex. But yeah, it feels good to be done with that screenplay. It is at a point where anything that changes is literally because of budgets, locations, all that shit. You know what I mean? It's shootable is what I'm trying to say. This thing is ready to go. And that's a damn good feeling, man. I can't wait to hear what my manager says, because he's probably the person who's read the most screenplays that I'm getting feedback from besides the cinematographer. So, also, I've been battling a cold this week. I am no longer contagious, which is good, but I have a lingering cough and congestion still. But no fever or chills anymore, so we're good. But it is that time of the year, man. I at least I got it out of the way right away. You know what I mean? You usually get 1 or 2 bad colds during the fall winter season, and I got them back to back, which is unfortunate. It just feels like it went through each of us, and then Bobby got this cold, which is worse than the first one, and she still has a cough. Theo's cough is gone now. Or Casey, she'll just be like, I'm like, oh, God damn, okay. But so I may be muting myself a lot to cough, and I will try not to be every 5 seconds. I don't know if you guys heard that, but it's gross. 80s vampire film premiered to a sold out auditorium. I got a lot of compliments on my performance. That film I do have for my acting reel, but I was told not to share the whole film until their festival run is done, and I do not know what their plan is for that. Most festival runs are 3 to 6 months. Pollo Loco is a very unique circumstance. Most festival runs are not longer than a year, and ours was a year and 4 or 5 months. Technically, it's not done yet. There's still like 2 festivals that are supposed to notify me. One of them I think we're gonna get into. One of them I don't think so. One, because it's a big festival, and two, the film's already out. I got like a big waiver to enter into those, so it's like no money spent. But so there still is technically a chance to get some more awards, but I think it's done. I'm seeing Joker 2 tonight at Flick's Brewhouse, so at least I have good food to look forward to. What are you doing right now?
I'm looking at Clash of Clans while you're talking, bro.
Jesus, bro. Clash of Clans. Some respect, bro. I'm hearing terrible things about it. What about you?
I'm same. Because I'm not gonna get into like the reasons for why I've heard terrible things.
I heard the number one reason is because it's a musical, which is a pretty big deal.
That wasn't. See, the thing is,
I heard the ending too, but
the ending, yeah. The musical part. I mean, you can have a musical and have it turn out good. But
I saw a clip and I was like, "What is this shit? Like, this is a musical number?" It was like him tap dancing.
I haven't seen any. I haven't seen any clips. What I will say is, I think it was a very bold and risky choice to make, as far as like going from what the original Joker was to this sort of like I mean, making it a musical was a crazy idea, but
yeah.
I did hear that they did not test screen the movie.
Terrible idea for $100 million film.
Yeah,
not test screen it. So just to put it into perspective, I think it has like triple the budget that the first one had. The first one made like 92 million in its opening weekend or something like that, which for an R-rated movie at the time was like the biggest opening ever. I'm pretty sure Deadpool and Wolverine smashed that, but they were saying this one was going to open to around 100 to 120 million. The projections have been updated and they're saying 50 now. And I am seeing people post pictures of auditoriums where like 3 seats are taken. They're like, what happened?
Dude.
And I'm like, it's going to be like considered like the biggest, like, I think like last minute upset ever. But yeah, not testing it for an audience with that much money is basically like saying, fuck it, we built it, they will come. And it's like, I don't know, man. I hope that it's cases like this that will discourage Hollywood from doing so many goddamn sequels. I'm seeing right now that most films are either a sequel of some kind or already like an established IP that was like a show or something already. And so it's like, as an indie filmmaker, what I would love to see is more original films get bigger budgets. Like there's nothing really being made in like the 20, like from like the 25 to 60 million dollar range. There's just like no films in that range. And a lot of times in the past, talking like the past like 30 years, a lot of those movies that were like sleeper hits or became cult classics were in that budget range. So it's like, it's really unfortunate, man. Filmmaking is in a weird state right now. But I was actually watching a Kevin Smith live stream the other day because he was talking about his new movie, which is an indie film. They had like a $4.5 million budget called the 4:30 movie that he filmed at his movie theater. That Pollo Loco premiered out, which is just like really cool to say. I put in a chat and I was like, "Yo, I saw you on Theo Von's podcast. Like that's real inspiring shit." And he was like, "Thank you, Danny Dorito 23." I was like, "Cool." He said that he thinks it's time for another indie film movement, like the one from the 90s. And I'm like, dude, if that were to happen right now, that would be like an indie filmmaker's dream come true. Because everybody wishes it was like that. I think right now the biggest thing against that is the fact that like there's so many streaming platforms and so many options. I think TV shows are what is seeing like a really big contraction right now, because I'm just gonna be straight up. I get so many comments, watch this show, watch that show. I don't have enough time. There's not enough time. I have to prioritize. People are like, yo, watch Unfrosted. The reviews are terrible. I don't have time to watch something that got that bad of reviews. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, to be honest, I am planning on watching the Terrifier movies. Been getting those comments a lot because the third one's dropping. But I have to watch those on my own. My wife is not going to watch those, nor would she want to. But There is an actor in the second and third one that I may be having my manager reach out to for a specific role. So I feel like I should definitely watch those. So stay tuned for that stuff. But excuse me.
Jesus,
Oh gosh,
bro.
so gross, man. I'm so sorry. I should have muted. That was nasty. But on to our main topic. Pollo Loco premiered last night, about 20 hours ago. And I'll pull up the stats right now, but to put into perspective, our best performing long form video on YouTube for the first 24 hours got
GTRP
50
video.
It's a Life of Luxury reaction, actually.
Oh,
it's like
yeah,
almost
yeah,
10
yeah,
minutes long.
yeah.
Yeah. It has 170,000 views, okay, total, in like the last 2.5 years or something since posted. And so to put into perspective, that video received 5,100 views. Excuse me, in the first 24 hours. This cold is kicking my ass, man. I'm so sorry. So the first 24 hours, that our highest performing video on my YouTube channel received 5,100 views. Right now, 20 hours in, Pollo Loco is at 4,653 with 412.9 watch hours, which is like insane. The average watch time is like 5 minutes and 20 seconds, which is 5 minutes and 21 seconds now, actually. It's going up. That is like our highest retention rate ever. So the video, the short film is performing incredibly well for my YouTube channel, especially since I'm a short form content creator. We are going to pass 5,100 in the first 24 hours based off of its like trajectory right now, which is a huge win for the short film. I'm telling you right now, I am going to not shut up. I'm serious. Like, people are gonna be like, will you please shut the fuck up about your short film? That is what it's gonna turn into, and I do not care. This is what you have to do. That's the indie filmmaker grind. I am not gonna shut up until it hits 100,000 views. When it hits 100,000 views, I plan on releasing the screenplay. Like, just here it is if you want to read it. Like, if you know, so if that's something you're looking forward to, watch it, share it with your friends and family. The films like this, indie films in general, really, their performance is mainly from word of mouth. So if you go, yo, you remember that crumble cookie guy? Bro goes crazy in this short film. It's like some Patrick Bateman shit. Like, literally, like, just shout it from the rooftops. Watch it twice. Watch it 3 times. Get that retention rate up, the view rate. Like, that is the best thing you could do for it. If you're a big supporter of this podcast and my content and the filmmaking and all that stuff, that is the best thing you can do for it, is just get people to watch it. Watch it once a day, the whole thing. I don't care if you're in the shower and it's just playing on your phone while you shower for 20 minutes. Who cares, man? Like, anything and everything when it comes to the view time is just a win. So, because and I will tell you why. When we get to 100,000 views, I can go to a producer and go, if half of those people watched it by renting it for $5 or buying it for $10 or buying a movie ticket at a limited screening, that is literally like, we're talking a $300,000 film budget back to itself in less than a year. And like, just to make your money back as an indie filmmaker on your first film is enough to get like studios interested in having you make something, which is a crazy thing to say, but like that is enough to open doors and get the next one made even easier. The first feature film is the one that really establishes a filmmaker as somebody who can make a film. It just like, literally, the film just has to be average. Like, yeah, it was fine. They made a film. Like, not very many people finish a feature film. Like, you know, like, it's crazy to think how many short films out there are just unfinished. It's the same thing for features because they're so hard to make, man. Like, just making a feature film is enough to like be like, oh, that this person is a serious filmmaker. And so that's the goal. So get Pollo Loco to 100,000 views, guys. It is updating right now. It's already at almost 4,660. So it is going up. I mean, we're getting like 3 or 4 views a minute, I think. So if we keep that rate going, we will definitely, I mean, by the time you see this video, it's already been 24 hours. But I mean, if we're talking like the first the first 72 hours, if we hit 15,000 views, this short film is going to have a really good lifespan. So thank you guys for such an incredible premiere. The number one comments I saw were great acting. The number one complaint I saw was the funk music. And I think that is so funny because the song in the garage that I think most people are talking about, they're like, I didn't like it. It made me it felt weird. And I'm like, it's supposed to be uncomfortable. Bro's being tortured. Like, that's the point of the song. It's supposed to be jarring and uncomfortable. You're supposed to feel like him. Like, you're supposed to anticipate it, you know?
Did anybody just say that they don't like funk? Because what I've learned pretty recently,
some people, yeah.
There's people who just straight up just think it doesn't sound good. And, like, that's
fine.
Yeah, so...
I don't plan on using funk again unless I make another film set in that world, and it'll be like a nod. Like, it'll be like one of those songs again as like the credits or something, just to, you know, pay homage or something. But the next film that I'm making is supposed to have like a modern 80s feel. So if you like the movie Drive and the soundtrack that has, it's going to be very similar to that, but even more vibey. Like, the whole film is going to be like that. Like, it's the opening, every time people go, it has like a really interesting like first couple pages. Like, I tell them, yeah, and if you want to like really imagine what it's supposed to be, think like a modern. The second Top Gun is not a good example because it's literally like doing the same thing the 80s Top Gun did with its opening. Which, Chris, did you see Top Gun Maverick?
I haven't even seen the original Top Gun, bro.
Watch them both when you get a chance. I think they're both on my account. The second Top Gun is literally one of the best films I've ever seen. Like, it's definitely like a top 50 movie, I think. It is that fucking good, and it has that modern 80s feel. So if you like stuff like that, you're gonna love my first feature. What was I gonna say? Oh, but like the opening sequence is very Top Gun-esque, but it's like, it's just very chill and it's like, this is the Coast Guard and like this is an air station. You know what I mean? And like it's gonna be really sick, man. I'm so excited to film at that air station and show people a world that I don't think many people know exists. Like, it's really crazy when I talk to people about the Coast Guard and they're like, that's like the National Guard? And I'm like, no, that is like active duty, full time. Like, it's the military, man. Like, I did everything that the other branches do. I went to boot camp. I got the same pay grade. I get paid the same as them, all that stuff. So, yeah, I'm really excited to get that one into pre-production. But yeah, go watch Pollo Loco, guys. I can't thank you enough for the support it's gotten, and it's shaping up to be the perfect calling card when I go to producers later this year. So thank you. It seriously means a lot. And rate it on letterbox and IMDb. That's another great way to support it. We're about to hit 300 watches on Letterboxd with like 189 reviews, which is insane. I think we have 38 written reviews on IMDb with 353 watches on there. And both are like a really good indicator as to like the fact that there's a real audience there. Like, you could basically, like, I would say, I don't know, like 100 times that number. That's a good indicator to like how many people will watch it. So we're talking like 30,000 people, or sorry, if you do both combined, we're talking like 60,000 people from that. I am going to be reaching out to festivals too, to get the numbers from them. Like, how many people watched it. So I think that'll be a really good statistic to bring to a producer as well. Like, yo, the Lonely Wolf Film Festival sent out an email and they said in the first 24 hours, our film was #1 with over 10,000 views. So I'm like, that's crazy. That's like such a, like, I wonder how many views that it got at that festival total. Probably like 25,000 or something. So it's all ammunition. Quick ad break. Support us on Patreon. It's as little as $1. I played Dead by Daylight with a couple people this morning. I'm gonna be hopping on later tonight to play some more. That was really fun. Use code DannyD for 10% off. Or sorry, 10% off Fit Butters. I just tried birthday cake, which was fine. I think the sprinkles melted, so it didn't.
Yeah,
they were. I don't. That's unfortunate, but it tasted like cake. They have over 20 flavors, man. They're like the G Fuel of nut butters.
Jesus, bro.
Excuse me, man. It's my throat. It's the talking. I lost my voice the other day, man. It was bad. Use code DannyD for 20 to 30% off at gfuel.com. The new Ghost Face flavor is great. They have a hydration version and an energy version. I have tried the energy version, and if you like Goth Girlfriend, which is blackberry apple, I think this one is slightly better. It's like Power Pellet, which is like a cherry lollipop mixed with that green apple flavor, so it's got a little bit of tart sourness.
I bet you Dad would like that.
I think he would too. It is great. The tub looks awesome. They got some really cool shakers inspired by Ghostface as well. Those are both in stock. The hydration version is caffeine free. If you're somebody who's not a fan of caffeine, use code DannyD to support the content. And then giveaway time for Spooky Month. I'm giving away a horror film Blu-ray every week, and this week that is Halloween 5. This is a sealed 4K copy. This is like I think a limited run actually. Shout Factory sent this to me.
Dang.
So this is an interesting I mean, you could, I don't know if you can tell by the artwork that the mask in this one is a little rough, but
it looks like a Dead by Daylight, like.
it does. Oh, my camera's over here. Sorry, I'll show you.
There it is. Jesus,
it is
bro.
definitely an interesting entry into this franchise, and the winner of that is Lipoma on Discord, which I looked up. I was like, what the hell is lipoma? And I looked it up, and it's like a fatty tumor.
Wait, no way. Let me look this up.
Yeah, dude. It's like a fatty tumor. So congratulations, lipoma. I'll be sending that out to you. I'll be contacting you in the next 24 hours to get that sent out. Next week's horror Blu-ray giveaway is My Bloody Valentine, which I have not seen, but I heard this is a classic, man. So I might have to watch this myself, but this is also sealed. This is the collector's edition Blu-ray. Shout Factory. I think it's the same company. Anyways, look forward to that giveaway next week. I also have... Damn it! Trying to grab it! I also have... For the third week, we're giving away Megan, which this is the unrated edition. So if you want to watch like the R-rated version, which I think is much better, that's cool. And then the final week for like Halloween in general, The Black Phone. Which if you have not watched The Black Phone, that is one of my favorite horror films of like the last decade. So, you saw that, right?
Talking about me? No.
Dude, you got to watch it. It's got Ethan Hawke. He's a serial killer.
Well, what's the one that came out like a month ago with the guy from Oppenheimer?
A month ago with the guy from Oppenheimer. Oh, Trap?
Yeah, I want to watch that.
Damn. I think I want the Blu-ray, and I don't think the Blu-ray comes out till like November. So I'll have a copy on there once I get it. But anyways, if you want to win a Blu-ray, it's literally $1 to join the Discord, and that's how you can enter. So there's 4 chances to win Blu-rays, and also there's going to be G Fuel and stuff in the Discord. So guys, literally for $1, you can get some free shit. Come join. On to our Patreon questions. We got 4 of them, I think. Super Dude 01 says, "What is your favorite movie or TV show quote?" That's what she said from The Office.
Are you serious? Does that count?
I don't know. Braveheart's got what is it? I think it's like every man dies, not every man really lives, or something like that. That's a really cool quote. There's so many like
I would go with the Ferris Bueller's Day Off quote. The life comes at you pretty fast. One. Yeah, that one.
That is a great one. I'm gonna look up famous movie quotes and just go through some and be like, yo, that's a good one. Hasta la vista, baby. I feel the need for speed. Chris wouldn't know that one because he hasn't seen Top Gun.
That's from Top Gun, really?
Yeah. The Godfather Part 2. Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Bond, James Bond. The Godfather Part 1. I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse. The Notebook. If you're a bird, I'm a bird. Oh, you're gonna need a bigger boat.
Mm.
You're gonna need a bigger boat, man. You've seen Jaws, right?
Not since I was like 6.
Dude, you got to rewatch it when you get a chance, because holy fuck, man, it holds up more than any movie I've ever seen.
Can I go on a little bit of a rant really quick? So
watch movies, Chris.
So horror movies or anything that's supposed to be like along those lines, I tend to not want to watch, because you know what the solution to the entire plot is? Just don't do that. Oh man, we're gonna go camping in the middle of a forest and then we get chased by this murderer. Okay, have you tried not camping in the middle of the forest? Just stay inside. Like, I don't know. Like,
what? The Black Phone. A kid gets kidnapped by a serial killer and is trying to escape. You can't resonate with that?
Just don't have kids.
You were a kid at one point. You could have got snatched off the street. That's so realistic. Jaws, it's like, I mean, the concept is, by the way, I just a little hint out there. Somebody might find this clip someday, but I have a really rad idea for a shark movie that has never been done. And Ben, every time we talk about ideas, he's like, dude, you still gotta like write that shark movie. And I'm like, I know, it's pretty rad. So I would love to pay homage to Jaws someday. And there's like a whole sequence that's like mind blowing involving the shark that I'm like, just to shoot that would be bonkers. But yeah, those are some great movie quotes. But yeah, and then Jaws, it's like, dude's a police chief and people are being eaten off the coast of his hometown. And so he sets out with a scientist and like a shark hunter to go kill the thing. Like that's good motivation. He's the town's police chief.
What
he's doing his fucking duty.
I don't know,
you
man.
Piece of shit. In a horror movie, Chris is the type of guy. I can't remember what movie it was. There's a horror movie I watched where like it's like a camera crew, and like they go to like this place and like the woman's possessed. And like some crazy shit happens, and like one of the camera crew guys he's like, nah, just fucking gets the car and leaves, never comes back for the whole movie.
Because
like that's Chris right there. You're just like, nope.
Because that's the thing.
I know what happens.
My brain is like, okay, like if you feel like something bad is going to happen, get out of there. Like I don't know. It's just how I think. Like I
mean, there's plenty of movies that are horror movies, like The Strangers. They literally are like at a wedding, and they like they're talking about getting a divorce or some shit, and they go to like the family home to talk it out, right? And the one guy's like, I'm gonna go get some liquor or whatever. And while he's gone, there's a knock on the door, and like these people show up and just like terrorize and murder them. Spoiler alert. I mean, it's been out forever, but at the end of the movie, she's just like, why are you doing it? So they're like, because you were home. So those are crazy people. There's crazy people out there who do shit like that.
You want to know something, like an actual good like way to keep you interested in like something like horror related? So like Stranger Things, right? I don't know if you really consider that horror necessarily, but it has some horror
sci-fi
elements
horror.
To it. So
Love
you
sci-fi horror,
could make the argument for the first couple seasons, oh, why don't they just leave Hawkins, right? But then as it goes on, you realize, oh, this is a much bigger thing. Like this could affect the whole planet, right? Then at that point, it's like, we have to do something about it, right? When it's like, oh man, I'm staying at a house and it's haunted. Move! Go somewhere else. I don't get it, man. Okay.
It's funny to see how that first season starts out. It's like, and where it is now, it's like the whole world can end and she's fucking like whirling around waffles in the air or some shit. Like, yeah. Stranger Things, if they stick the landing with the 5th season, it might become my favorite TV show of all time.
When is that coming out?
They're still filming, man. Oh. It's like one of the. It's like a full-on fucking. Dude, the crazy thing is like they're doing, I think, 6 or 8 episodes. I think it might be 7 actually. They said every single one is like feature film length. So we're talking like an hour, hours? 20 minutes plus each one.
Oh Jesus, bro.
So I mean, shit. I think it's like a full year of filming, and they said like a month ago, they're like, we're officially halfway through, and I'm like, god damn, you guys started filming like 6 months ago.
See, and the thing is, so Stranger Things is really good at like, and this is kind of unrelated to the question that we were asked, but
Yeah, sorry, but everybody loves Stranger Things. And if you
so
don't, fuck you.
so do you ever get that feeling when you're watching something where you're like, I am getting like really uncomfortable, or I'm getting anxious, like
Yeah,
I don't like where these people
like
are
Pollo
at.
Loco.
Well, even more of like when you know something bad's gonna happen to a character, and you're like, I can't watch this, right? So I got that feeling from Stranger Things a few times, and it's like I still keep watching because I'm like, I just need to get through this one part. They might come out of this fine, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I know season 5, like people are gonna die, bro. People
I
are gonna
know.
die. If Steve dies, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. He's one of my favorite characters in a TV show ever. Like the fact that first it's like a total Jesse Pinkman situation. Jesse Pinkman was not supposed to live through the first season.
Yeah, that's actually true. Yeah, I did
And
see that. Yeah.
Steve was supposed to literally just be a bully character who like it was only in the first season, and they like totally like towards the end there. I guess they liked work. It comes down to like if an actor is really good and he's a good person off camera, like the writers would be like, we got to keep this guy around. And so literally in the last episode of the first season of Stranger Things, spoiler alert, which if you haven't watched it, what the fuck are you doing, man? It's like the only reason to own Netflix.
Jesus.
It's not the only reason, but it's one of the main reasons.
For me, it's the only reason.
Damn. I mean, I don't buy streaming shows on disc, but if they release a complete Stranger Things box set in 4K, I'm buying that shit. I'm telling you right
That's
now.
fair.
Because I want to own it forever. But he like they totally like reverse his character in the last episode, and he becomes a good dude. And then like when Nancy like ends up going back with him instead of hooking up with the peeping Tom, which I still can't resonate with that character. He's such a fucking weirdo. I can't. He was like taking pictures of her in the window. Dude, they removed part of that scene because it was so
Really?
creepy. Yeah,
Jesus.
it's like predatory.
Yeah, well,
It's like taking pictures of him.
I think it's kind of like incel vibe.
She like strips down to her underwear when
Yeah.
she's about to like do it with Steve, and he's like taking pictures of her in the window.
Yeah.
They took that out, I think.
I think that's no. I'm pretty sure that's still in there. I remember.
No,
that.
I watched it again recently, and I was like, yeah, this scene is shorter because it switches
Whoa.
to him taking a
Oh,
picture
you're
of
saying
Barb,
you're
and then
saying
she gets murked.
they went back and changed it?
Yeah,
See, because I remember actually seeing that scene though. Like I remember that. Dang, man, we got
That's
Mandela
weird, man.
affected, bro. That's crazy.
that's creepy. A creepy scene. But yeah, he like when he hooks back up with Nancy at the end, and in the second season they're like having relationship problems. You like totally feel for him. And you're like, damn, like fuck this weird Byers kid. Like stick with Steve. He's a good guy, you know.
Mhm.
And then the third season, his relationship arc, without getting into spoilers, because it's like one of the greatest like written relationship things I've ever seen like that of that nature in a show. Like it's just Steve is easily my favorite character.
Yeah.
I dressed up as him for Halloween like 2 years ago.
Well, that's
awesome.
why season 3 is like my favorite season of that whole show. Like season 4 is great. Don't get me wrong.
You know, I think I will agree with you. I think
Season 3.
I think season 4 is my favorite. Season 3 is my second favorite. Then 1, then 2. I've definitely changed my order. But it's because season 4 is mind blowing, man. I mean, every episode is movie quality, and like, there's so many payoffs from the first 3 seasons.
But
man.
see, I remember way more from season 3 than I do from season 4.
I disagree on my end, but the thing about season 3 that I did not like is that the whole Billy villain thing, like, just I don't know, it didn't hit me emotionally like I thought it would.
Wow, dude, really?
He's a piece of shit. I can't feel for him, man. Like okay, the second season showed like, oh, his dad's abusive. Okay, but in the third season, he just goes full bad and like he's a bad dude, and at the end you're supposed to feel for him, but like there's some trickery going on there where
Well,
he's trying to them.
I think
like
he's
at the
like
very end there's a redeeming moment, but like
yeah.
I don't know. Like I mean that actor is great, by the way, but I don't know. There was just something about that aspect of that villain where I was like, okay, this is literally like we're I don't want to call it a filler villain, but that's what it felt like to me. Like the real villain is coming. This is the villain that, you know, is hold us over for this season. Like to me, the mall setting in general is like fucking sick though.
Yeah.
Like that was the highlight
Well,
for sure.
so the last time, or maybe it was a few times ago, I don't know. I remember one time we were gotten this huge debate about season 3, and you didn't like season 3 because it felt very cliche. And to me, the fact that that show takes place in the 80s, like you needed at least one season that was like that, because it really does feel like it was made back then. Like
To be fair, I've only watched it once. I may just rewatch all of it
I
in my spare
I
time, man.
freaking I want
love
to
that
rewatch
show.
season 3. Season 3 was
Anyways,
so good.
Nikki asks, what were you guys thinking when I don't know if we could say that word. It starts with a P, ends with
Emic.
Mick. Pandemic in 2020 broke out. So I was in the Coast Guard still, and I had spent the last like year and a half basically preparing to get out. I sold my Mustang, started saving all my money. I was like, okay, I need to get out and like have some money to live off of while I figure out what the hell I'm gonna do for a living, because it's hard to get a job on sets. And I went to the Fox studio a lot, shadowed some people, met the first AD on the show Fresh Off the Boat, which is a really cool sitcom set in like the 90s. And I got to meet all those actors and stuff. One of them was in like True Detective season 2. So I was like, yo, you killed it in that show and stuff like that. Like, what was it like working with Colin Farrell and stuff? But anyways, the first AD is like, I was in the Navy, man. So I love military guys because they follow orders. They do what they're told. They don't complain. If you want to come be a PA with me, I will hire you. Let me know when you're out. And I'm like, you got it. I appreciate that. Like, hell yeah, I got a job. You know, like something's lined up because that guy's always working. And so I'm like, I got it all figured out. And then I reconnected with my wife because we had dated in high school and gone our separate ways. And then we crossed paths again. So I'm like, everything feels great. It feels like life is going to work out. And then that happens. And to put it into perspective, I was in San Francisco, which was the first city in the United States to lock down.
Was it really?
So I remember, yes, I remember the day they went on lockdown and they were like only essential personnel on the roads. And when I would drive to work, it was eerie, dude.
Yeah.
It was a ghost town. I would only see cops and like an occasional car here and there. But if you've ever been to San Francisco, it's like LA where there's like traffic jams all the time. And so to see it with no cars on the road is like, it felt like a post-apocalyptic film. It was crazy. It was just quiet. Still smelled like piss and shit in the streets, but it was quiet.
No, see,
Even the homeless people were like hiding.
that was like one of my favorite parts though, is it was so quiet. Like, I don't know. And I get that some people don't like that, but it's like, it was nice to be able to go outside, go get groceries, and there was just like nobody in the way.
I remember before the lockdown when people were hoarding shit and like going to the store was scary, man.
That part was rough because I remember, so Mom and I went to Food City for whatever reason. I don't know why we went to Food City specifically. Probably because it was that there was specific stuff we couldn't get at Walmart that we could get at Food City. But we go over there and I remember I was like, like I haven't had the strawberry Fanta in a while. So we got that. And then we saw my science teacher from like 7th grade. And she was like, well, I have a friend that's like in this 3-letter agency, and he's saying that martial law is going to get declared soon. We were like, what? Like, we were like, what's going on? And
they
so
were saying that it was scary.
It was really freaky. But I remember around March was when I was still working at Best Buy at the time. This was like my 2nd year there. And I also want to remind everybody, so at this point I'm like fresh out of high school. Like I graduated in 2019, right? And so like just started college. All my classes were online because I didn't want to start going out there yet. And so like I'm taking like calculus online, and you would go and take the tests in person, and they were just like, nope, you're just taking them online now. So like there was that, and then they furloughed everybody at Best Buy. So I get a call from my boss, and he's like, yeah, so you can apply for unemployment. Everyone else is doing it. Just do it. And I was like, are you sure?
Yeah.
Like, do I look for a different job? He's like, no, apply for unemployment. You'll be back. And I was like, okay. So
yeah.
well, I mean, it was like really, it was just ton of
Yeah,
whiplash from it. It was crazy.
at the air station, um, people were like, so when you're in flight status, if you get as much as a sniffle, you get grounded. Like you can't fly, because they don't want you flying with air crew and air being circulated through the cabin that's just got like cold germs and shit. And so people would get exposed and would be quarantined for 10 days or whatever it is. And just like little by little, we were losing air crew to the point where it was like actually an issue. And like people were having to get called in for duty and have to stay overnight when they didn't plan to. It was a complete shit show, man. I flew.
Didn't you get quarantined at one point?
I did get quarantined at one point when I was in LA because somebody got exposed. Or dude, okay. This is crazy to even think about now that I'm thinking back. People might remember on the news there was a ship, a Navy medical ship called the USS Mercy, big ass medical ship that goes to like third world countries and delivers aid. Came into LA for COVID. Oh, God.
I think you're fine.
Maybe we'll see. That's a trigger word for the algorithm sometimes. But they were there for relief for that because LA was getting hit hard by the pandemic. And so like in like the last month that I was in, one of the last flights I did was escorting the USS Mercy into port. And that was just like crazy to be a part of. I delivered test kits to one of the cruise ships that was in the news in San Francisco because it got quarantined and those people were stuck on the boat for like 2 weeks. I delivered kits like literally like in a basket, lowered test kits down to the deck. It was really cool. So I felt like I was on the front line when it came to that thing. But the Coast Guard was telling me, man, everybody was telling me, are you serious? You're getting out right now? And I'm like, that was my plan. I'm sticking to it. I had like higher ups come to me and go, hey man, I can send an email. We can get you a 6-month extension right now. And I was like, it's not a bad idea. And I really had to think about it. And I'm telling you right now, if I took that extension, I wouldn't be here talking right now on a podcast.
Yeah.
Because I started TikTok immediately after that. As soon as I went on leave, I started TikTok, started streaming, and 6 months later, I was blowing up on TikTok and stuff. And I mean, maybe Pollo Loco might not exist if I had taken that extension. That's crazy to think about. But yeah, it was a scary time, man. I remember when what was it? Was it H1N1 or whatever it was when we were kids? I was watching
swine flu or
swine flu. Yeah, swine flu. I remember when I was in like middle school and that hit. I think it was middle school. It was either that or 6th grade. And I was tracking the map and it was showing all the cases and the people dying and shit. And it was scary. I thought it was going to turn into what this did.
Yeah. Well,
and if you think about it, it's like every 10 years something like this happens.
Yeah. So the funny thing is, I actually remember when you were doing that because you were talking about it like it was the end of the world. And mind you, I'm like either in like kindergarten or 1st or 2nd grade or something like that. And you are freaking out. And I'm like, oh my God, we're going to die. And I'm like telling people on the playground and stuff like that. And they're like, what are you talking about, man? We're like in a sandbox right now.
I was seriously like, I think I was, I mean, I've always been told I was mature, like always like mature for my age when it came to serious stuff like that. I seriously think I was like the only one at my school who was that fucking serious about it. Like,
yeah.
Besides like teachers, I would ask teachers, I'd be like, what do you think's going to happen? They're like, I don't know, man. Kind of scary. Hey, get back to work.
Well, like, so I remember, because, okay, I want you guys to know my perspective because, like I said, I'm really young at this point, and I think you had like an iPod Touch. You didn't have a phone yet, or if you did, it was one of those crappy little like.
Remember that
phones.
video? The kid, he opens his Christmas present. And he's
oh
like,
yeah, iPod Touch. Yeah,
they did like an edit where it's like demonic.
So yeah, you had an iPod Touch and it had like Happy Birthday engraved on the back of it, and so you would be like on Twitter. Back when it was still called Twitter, which wasn't really that long ago, but like back then it was still called Twitter, and it still had the little tweet that it would do whenever you get notification.
Yeah.
And so you'd be on there looking at like I don't understand. To this day, you always have like really up to date stuff on like the news. Like I don't know if you said like the right apps downloaded or what, but like you would be seeing something about like Call of Duty. You'd be like, oh, Charlie Intel said this. I'm like, who's Charlie Intel? Like I didn't understand what that was, right? And so you would talk about
Communist.
well, and
You don't know
like,
Charlie Intel?
this. I didn't even know like that. I was like,
Yeah, no.
I thought that was like a leaker or something like that. I was like, who is that, right? And so like,
I cared about
you'd be
stuff like
talking
that,
about
yeah.
like Robert Bowling like leaving or whatever, and like I was
You know,
just
I'm
like,
friends with that guy on Facebook.
I remember you saying that, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't
Um,
know how I ended up with, but that guy was the community strategist back when like the OG Modern Warfare games were coming out.
Yeah, yeah. I think because he left during Modern Warfare 3, right?
He was the one who would introduce the demos on stage
Yeah.
at like E3.
Anyway, so
don't
you would give me this news, and so when the swine flu stuff happened, it was like this guy has like insider knowledge, like this must be a big deal, and it ended up being nothing. And I was like, oh, all right, but like I was freaking out when it happened.
Yeah, I was freaking out too, and then like this time it was like for real.
Yeah,
The whole world freaked out. But yeah, no, like that is definitely like one of those. I remember 2019 because the Coast Guard was like, "Yo, we got to keep this on our radar because we're gonna be like, if this gets serious, like the Coast Guard's gonna be doing some of the work here." And so, yeah, that 2019 and 2020 are like one of the most probably impact that like I would say like fall 2019 to fall 2020 is like one of the most impactful years of my life.
2020 was awesome for me. Because mom and I would always go to the store. We get Dutch Bros, and then we would get like food.
Everybody was, I will say, because everybody was like basically on like paid vacation and shit. Like everybody was happy. Besides the fact that shit was happening.
Yeah,
so it was a weird time. Tommy Slays says it's 2008, so keep in mind the housing crisis is happening. You just got home from school. What snack are you grabbing?
Slim Jims with cheese, or it might be Jacklinks, but they had the little beef stick with the cheese. That
I think got you into that.
Yes, and the cheese. I don't know what that cheese is made of, but like the flavor from it.
Processed.
It's so processed.
Cheddar.
It's just fake cheese, but it's so freaking
It's
good,
not fake cheese, but it's just got a lot of preservatives in it. The meat too, it's like terrible for you. But yeah,
but
we would get that from the store when we were with mom.
Dude, if they sold
some Slim Jim with cheese,
if they sold like a 50 pack of that cheese,
sometimes mom would get one too.
I would buy a 50 pack of just the cheese if they sold
I don't know.
that.
Mom watches this, maybe I'm wrong, but I could have sworn I remember her like getting like sometimes she would get one too. Very rarely, but
dude, and the
like,
thing is,
she always understood.
I think because it's Jacklinks,
like
it's not even actually Slim Jims, but it was like basically a Slim Jim because I tried.
I mean, dude. Sorry, go ahead.
I tried getting like a Slim Jim with the cheese, and they don't have it, but they have the Jacklinks, and the Jacklinks, the cheese tasted the same. It was just so freaking good, man. It's so bad for you, but it's so good.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's bad for you because of like the stuff they use to preserve it, but like when it comes to like the health value of a snack, like if we were at the store and it came down to like we're in the aisle, there's a bunch of candy, and Theo reaches for that and is like, "Can I get that?" Fuck yeah, man! Like that's a legit snack right there. That's got some protein and shit. Like that is yeah, that's a good one. I mean, it's kind of cliche, but popcorn. Popcorn was always my favorite snack growing up.
I'm surprised you didn't say like salsa verde Doritos or something like that, dude.
Salsa verde Doritos with sour cream is a close second, but popcorn throughout my whole life has been my go-to snack. And like as a kid, there was nothing like sitting down with my family watching a movie or my grandparents and our grandparents and eating some popcorn. And Chris, mom's gonna crack up listening to this. Chris, when he was like Theo's age,
I will tell this story because it was me. So,
but hang on, for context. He did not like when you touched anything he was eating. Like if you reached onto his plate, grabbed something, he would throw it. The whole plate would go flying.
I thought you were going to talk. So yeah, what I would do is if somebody gave me food and then someone else went to go and touch it, I would just throw it. What I thought he was going to talk about is when we were living with our grandparents, I was like 4, our grandma really liked birds, right? And so she would have this friend come over and they would go talk about birds. Well, I told her, I was like, hey, I want popcorn. And she was like, oh, I'll get you some popcorn in a little bit. Well, when you're 4 and you can't do anything, like time passes super slow for you, right? So I go
Oh,
and get popcorn, put it in the microwave, and just started pressing random buttons and started it. And
bro,
like,
nuke that bitch.
yeah, and it like almost started a fire. Like I literally like just
Yeah.
didn't know what to press. I can't
Like,
read. I don't know what buttons they
Chris-
press.
Chris was not always like the like well supervised. I will say that. Like I remember one time you got caught putting a plastic plate over a candle.
So what I also did was we got these there was these toys that you would get from McDonald's.
That shit.
Or it was either a toy from McDonald's or a toy from Burger King, but it was like these Star Wars toys and you'd press a button, it would play a quote or something like that, right? And so
Yeah.
there was a candle in the living room and I took this Han Solo one and I just dipped it in the fire. and I remember like the fire went out and I was like, oh, I was like, what just happened? But there was like a bird mark on it.
There's definitely an alternate universe where Chris went down a dark path and turned into a pyromaniac.
So I have a video on my phone where I realized that if you take a piece of tissue paper and you hold it above a flame, it'll start to curl up because of the heat. And I went a little too low and it caught on fire and I almost like lit a MacBook box on fire. And let's just say, yeah, I shouldn't be trusted with fire. It's just not a good idea.
Fire's and it gets like it's almost like a living thing, and it'll just like do its own thing if you get out of control.
Yeah. Anyways.
But yeah, popcorn, beef jerky and cheese.
Oh yeah.
Slim Jim and cheese, whatever. Final question. Well, I guess it's a two-parter. Cal, fellow Canadian filmmaker, big supporter, says, "What were my favorite film festivals?" I would say number one, definitely, Smodcastle, the Kevin Smith one. I mean, just the whole experience was just amazing. I'm trying to think of like what, because a lot of them were very similar in terms of experience. Austin After Dark Film Festival was sick because it was at a brewery. And Chris, there were like as the festival went on, more and more people started showing up to get drunk because it was a brewery.
Whoa.
Right? So there's all these strangers that are like getting drunk with their friends as these films are just playing in like one area of the brewery on a projector with big ass speakers. So like everybody can hear it. And Pollo Loco comes on. And the festival director pulled me aside and talked to me. I was like, dude, that was crazy. In like the big climactic scene in the garage, which I don't want to get into spoilers if you haven't seen it. That whole sequence, the brewery went quiet. And the whole brewery was watching Pollo Loco. It just got quiet.
Dang.
And then like a bunch of people clapped when it ended. And then all of a sudden it got loud again. Like just everybody went back to chit-chatting and like more films were still playing. But that is one of my favorite moments out of the whole festival run. Because like that to me shows the power of like good movie moments. A complete a giant, I mean, we're talking like 200 people, man. A brewery with 200 people, complete strangers in Austin, Texas, who are there to just get drunk with their friends. And this is like a hipster brewery too. So these people are like, so like there's a lot of like hipster looking people, and it's like, oh, these people, you know, like they'll talk about like Paul Thomas Anderson and shit, those kind of people. They all just got quiet and started watching my performance and Jorge, and like it was just, I mean, I was like, to me, I was like, okay, if nothing else special happens with this film, that is a moment that's gonna live with me forever. And so that the Austin After Dark Film Festival, which I have a T-shirt from, like after that happened, I was like, let me buy a T-shirt. I got a T-shirt, and I have the best suspense thriller award next to the poster on my wall. One of my favorite moments, and then the Minefield Film Festival, which is like the last big festival we did, local in Albuquerque. Got like 6 awards from it. Local filmmakers like that. That was like I don't want to say it like this, but it's really what it is when you do a local festival. It's like, hey, look at me. I'm a local filmmaker. Like, this is my work, you know? And so like that was special as well. It was like the perfect way to like end the festival run. The other thing he asks is, in regards to Pollo Loco, is there anything you want to improve when you're shooting your feature, or do you feel that you're ready? I feel that I am ready to make a feature film. I don't think I could be any more ready. I mean, I could be like one of these people who wastes the next, I don't want to say waste, but I could spin my wheels for the next 5 years making another 5, 6, 7, 8 shorts, which I've seen people doing here. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like one guy I saw spent $50,000 on a short film. And during the Q&A, he's like, yeah, I think this is my last short. I think I'm ready to make a feature. And I'm like, bro, that could have been seed money.
Jesus.
That could have been seed money for a $500,000 film. 10% is enough to get producers interested.
50K.
And I'm like, instead of making 5 films over like a 2 or 3 year period that all cost like 10 to 30K or 50K, just gonna put all my time, effort, and resources into making a feature film, because I seriously think, and this is not to discourage anyone, because I think the real purpose of short films is to find your voice. And if you're gonna make big mistakes, make it on short films, because nobody. I'm not gonna say nobody's gonna remember Pollo Loco, but nobody's gonna remember Stolen G Fuel. Let's just be honest.
I'm gonna remember it. I love Stolen G Fuel.
I know we are, but I mean the general audience is not gonna remember that, because it's a short little thing that it's a flash in the pan. Pollo Loco to me feels like it feels more like one of those flashes in the pan, but it's one of those videos where it's like, I'm gonna make the world's biggest stir fry, and it's like a giant sized, you know what I mean, skillet or whatever. That's a really weird way to put it, but you get what I'm saying? Like, it's just on such a bigger scale. Like, I don't think you can get any bigger without making a feature. And so I'm ready to make a feature. If there's one thing to improve, like one main thing to focus on, and I have done that, and I'll give you the reason why it was like that in Pollo Loco. It's the dialogue. When it came down to Pollo Loco, it was like, okay, we have all these things we're trying to do. Let's keep the dialogue short, simple, cliche. Who cares? Like, the thing is like every time when we were like getting ready to film it and we were talking about the dialogue and like what can we change, what can we improve, a lot of people are like, I think maybe this scene needs a lot, or we need another scene with Elisa. We need this, we need that. I'm like, motherfuckers, this thing's gonna be 30 minutes plus, and all of a sudden not be able to qualify for all these short film festivals, because a lot of short film festivals, 30 minutes is the cutoff. They won't accept it because it's more than 30 minutes. And so I was like, if we add anything to this film, it's gonna end up having to go over 30 minutes. And I mean, it probably would have gotten into like 5 festivals because of that.
Yeah.
So that is my reason for the dialogue being the way it is. I will say that there are things that like I go back and look and I'm like, I think I could have worded that a little different and it would have like been a little cooler or something like that. I won't get into detail because of time's sake, but I will tell you one of the things that Ben told me was like, dude, your dialogue in this feature is it's crazy. It's like night and day, you know. It's like, and so I'm really proud to hear that, because hearing that complaint like, the dialogue was weak, which at face value I get it. If you don't know why, at the end of the day, you see the film and without context, it is what it is. So if that is something that you're like, like, I like Danny DeVito and his filmmaking, but man, I hope his dialogue gets better. I guarantee you the dialogue in this feature film, it's very dialogue heavy actually, because it's a drama. It is definitely like, it's an improvement. So there you go. I think that answers the question, but I am ready, baby. Like if somebody was like, yo, here's the money, like when can we start shooting? I'm like, let's do it. I'm ready. Let's make a shot list, start hiring people. Let's do it. So any producers out there who hear this, like that's the boat I'm in right now. Let's fucking do it.
You want to know what I'm ready for?
I'm ready to make you some money. Huh?
You know what I'm ready for?
What?
I'm ready to go on a rant about how Baja Blast with sugar sucks.
Really? You totally switched on it, huh?
Yeah, because...
Okay, so the topic that we were supposed to have last week that he's talking about is sugar-free stuff is awesome now, and talking about the best sugar-free snacks and drinks.
So...
Because I seriously, before you get into it, because I know we're both going to rant, if you are somebody who is like, man, if I could lose like 5 pounds, I would feel a lot better about myself. Just cut out sugar. Don't eat sugar so much. I mean, a little dessert here and there. There's no reason to be drinking sugary soda. There's sugar-free candy now. This is why I brought it up. This bitch is it's like almost empty. This thing it doesn't even have aspartame in it anymore, man.
Yeah, it has sucrose.
No, it's actually sugar alcohol.
Oh.
Oh, sorry, my timer's going off. We are at an hour. This has, dude, I don't even really like York peppermint patties, but I still eat them. It's got special dark Hershey's, regular Hershey's, and Reese's peanut butter cups, bro. Sugar free.
So,
like, there's no reason to eat sugary candy anymore, man.
I had an experience, okay? So, I've had nothing but sugar-free Baja Blast for the past month and a half, okay? Like, as far as, like, having Baja Blast is the only experience I've had for the past month and a half, okay? And at first I was like, it doesn't taste right. But honestly, out of all of the sugar-free sodas that I've had, it's probably one of the best tastings. The runner-up for me is Dr. Pepper. So, we have this building at work where it's kind of like this snack bar thing, right? And so we go over there, and I was like, you know what? I haven't had a regular Baja Blast in a while. I'm gonna get one. And you remember those, like, the candy where you would pull it out and it had like this hard candy, and then there was like this thing where you'd squirt like juice onto it.
Mm-hmm.
So I kid you not, it tasted like that. It was disgusting. I was like, this is too much. Like it literally tastes like I'm just drinking that syrup.
Yeah, and dude, when I drink regular soda now, like, just a sip, the way it like coats my teeth and makes everything sticky, I'm just like, this nonsense, man. And there's no reason for drinking this shit.
Dr. Pepper is the only one where I will give that a pass, because Dr. Pepper is just good. It just is. Okay.
Honestly, I think Diet Dr. Pepper tastes more like Dr. Pepper than Zero Sugar Dr. Pepper, but maybe it's changed.
But the Zero Sugar isn't bad, is my point.
No, none of them are really bad anymore. But this is the one thing. If anybody's like on the fence, like, Zero Sugar soda, like, is it really that good? I think hands down the number one best Zero Sugar soda is Pepsi Zero Sugar. They have managed to somehow emulate the feeling of real soda. Like, it's got like the thickness of real soda and stuff, but it's still 0 sugar, 0 calories. I mean, I think it's technically like 5 calories. If it's less than 5 calories, they can round down to 0. That's the law.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of times when something says 0 calories, it's really like 4. So like, and not only that, like, I will say, if you drink a ton or eat a bunch of 0 sugar stuff, it can upset your stomach. Because there's all kinds of things that happen to your body when your taste buds sense that you're eating something sweet. And also, a lot of that stuff can just have like a laxative effect. There's a famous case of that. The Haribo gummy bears, sugar free. If you go, I don't know if it's still an issue, but if you looked at Amazon, people would be like, "Bro, I ate a handful of these and I was peeing out my butt for like a whole day." You know, like, some of them just have a laxative effect, so be careful. I think most things have gotten past that, though. Like, I think they've learned from it. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was like a combination of aspartame and other stuff, but seriously though, sugar-free stuff is at a level now where it's like, there is no reason, man, besides like the occasional dessert, to be having a sugar bomb like that anymore, man. It's terrible for your health. And I mean, if you think about it, like, there's 2 things that you can consume that I know of, there's probably more, that immediately trigger fat storage, and we have an obesity problem in this country. And so it is sugar, because it is such a rapid form of energy that your body can't use right away unless you're like a runner or a cyclist or some shit, like you're doing like heavy exercise, that your body is like primed right away to be like, okay, if we're not using this is storage for later, baby. Like caveman primal type stuff, you know? And the other thing is alcohol. When you drink alcohol, if you eat food or anything, your body is prioritizing the alcohol to get rid of, because it's literally, your body registers it as poison.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so the priority is, let's get this alcohol out of our body. And so anything and everything that you eat while you are having alcohol is automatically just like, all right, wait, this ain't a focus right now. Let's trigger some fat storage here to get this out of the way while we focus on getting the poison out. So like that's why a lot of people who drink a lot or specifically beer drinkers have that beer gut, is because they like to have beer food and stuff, and it's like it just goes straight to your gut, man. The worst thing you can do is drink alcohol and have sugary stuff, because it's the worst of both worlds. You know what I mean? Like you're literally triggering fat storage on two different levels. Like literally the worst thing you can do is drink like, and dude, Chris, I'm like, if I was ever gonna be like, I want to have a beer with my brother, like not your father's root beer would be the choice, because it tastes like root beer. Before we die, even though I know you're probably never gonna do it, and there's no, I don't blame you at all. Alcohol's stupid, man. Sometimes I question, like, what the fuck do I drink this shit? It's just there's no reason besides like having a buzz, you know, and like relaxing. But yeah, no, sugar-free stuff. I mean, dude, G Fuel.
Yeah,
sugar-free.
Freaking flavor bomb right here, dude.
Oh, I will say, I think drinking that hard Baja Blast seltzer ruined Baja Blast for me.
Whoa, what?
When I drink Baja Blast now, my brain goes, oh, remember that gross malt beverage taste? It's weird, man. It's like a trigger. I think it'll go away eventually, but it's really unfortunate. Now when I drink zero sugar Baja Blast, it just like kind of triggers that.
Bottom line. So I will say right now, I have officially been converted to zero sugar, right? I'm probably the last guy that needs it, but ever since, the thing that triggered it for me, the reason why I'm even doing it in the first place is because we had a conversation one time where apparently, I don't know what source you got this from, okay? But just to be safe, I was told that if you drink too much just regular Mountain Dew, you can get like Alzheimer's. Like there's something in it that yeah.
Regular Mountain Dew has hydrogenated soybean oil, which has been linked to Alzheimer's.
Yeah, and so I'm like,
other issues.
I'm like, I'm gonna just play it safe. Now I will say, so regular Mountain Dew.
There's also in like shitty peanut butter, by the way. Get you some Fit Butters.
So regular Mountain Dew, but zero sugar.
We're recording.
Was
goofball.
Theo. Regular Mountain Dew, but zero sugar, right? Worst thing on the planet. It tastes disgusting. It's gross. Don't ever get that one. Baja Blast, zero sugar, great.
Dude, I'm seriously like, yo, what the hell is going on? Why don't we? Because I see it on Amazon for like an insane amount of money. Code Red is zero sugar. They just don't put it anywhere. Why do we not have that on all the store shelves? That would be the #1 selling flavor. I bet you
I can find it, because the fact that they have Baja Blast zero sugar is crazy. Like they
and the fact that it's a permanent flavor now.
Yeah, dude, I want Whiteout and Voltage zero sugar.
Dude, you got to try Purple Thunder zero sugar.
Isn't that like a grape one?
I thought it was, but no, it's like an apricot something. It's really unique. It's good. Because I don't like grape stuff.
Yeah, I'm not a grape guy.
Quick little topic here. YouTube Shorts announced they are officially increasing to up to 3 minutes starting October 15th. So in like 10 days. I post TikToks that are over a minute all the time. So that's good for YouTube, because now there won't be these like weird, awkward cutoffs in some of the videos.
Yeah, also, it means that instead of having to edit them down every single time, you just upload them straight to the Dropbox.
That's what I'm saying.
Boom. We're good.
Yeah. So if you primarily watch my content through YouTube Shorts, get ready to have an even better experience, I guess.
Yep.
That's great. I'm telling you right now, and I just got a notification from TikTok last night saying you can upload up to 60 minutes now.
What the heck, man?
Well, what I hope is that, I'm not saying short form content's gonna die, because there's just no way it does with how much people consume it. But if we slowly shift back to like longer form content and people's attention spans start to improve, I am all for that.
Yeah,
I'm all for it.
The Subway Surfers brain is like, it's bad, dude.
Yeah.
Like.
But regarding the 3 minute time limit, there was a couple things that I wanted to mention to you, Chris, and also for people out there so they know, because I don't. It's information everybody should know if you're a YouTube Shorts poster. Um, so right now the policy is if you post a YouTube short and it has copyright music in it, they have a policy that allows you to still monetize and make money from that short. And so the new policy is if it's over a minute, it gets blocked. And I think that's because they're trying to stop people from posting like a whole fucking song.
Yeah.
You know, because that's a serious copyright issue. I think that's like honestly, I think YouTube is one of the biggest advocates for like copyright issue stuff and like figuring out like a common ground where everybody can be happy.
Yeah, meanwhile, freaking Twitch is like, oh yeah, you know what? We're just gonna let it happen. We're gonna let you guys just bully us, and then like everyone freaks out. And they're like, well, we're not enforcing it now. And then didn't Twitch do a thing where they released like a library of songs or something. I don't know what platform they released a library of songs that were non-copyright that you could use, and it's like,
yeah, they shut that down already.
Yeah, it's.
But anyways, yeah, if you're posting over a minute, make sure it doesn't have copyright music in it, or else you're gonna be like, why is my YouTube short only getting 2 views? It's because literally they are blocking it from the feed because they're covering their ass and they don't want to get sued. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's awesome. I'm really glad to hear that. It's about time. Because I know Instagram, it's a minute and 30 seconds is the limit. I think if you import the video, it may be longer.
But
I can't
Instagram's
remember.
not monetized.
No, and they really need to bring it back because I think they're really. I think that platform's in danger of dying.
I use Instagram to watch, like, people love TikTok, but I don't like using TikTok because it's just, I've had a bad experience with it. I go on Instagram and it's like genuinely like I find myself going back there to get like short form content because there's a lot of good stuff on there. I don't know, and TikTok also has like the lives that are like spliced into everything, and it's like I just want videos. That's all I want. But I think it do their ads really well as well. Like it's just as you're scrolling, you see one, you're like, oh okay, and then you keep going.
I think YouTube Shorts is my favorite, like short form content viewing experience for sure. But our last big topic before we get to our recommendations for the week. I tried insomnia cookies, like for real, like not just like, oh, here I'm gonna have a cookie on a set. Like we legit got them and like tried a bunch of them, including their big deluxe cookies. I think it's better than crumble cookies, man. I think crumble cookies is overrated as hell.
So, funny thing about that. So I watch a lot of Good Mythical Morning, right?
Yeah.
Pretty recently, they actually did a crumble cookies versus Mrs. Fields or something like that, right?
Ugh.
And they were like, everything here is like borderline cake territory. Like it's not.
They use cake better for their.
That's the thing. They're like, it's if you're going here thinking you're gonna get a cookie, you are going to be like a little confused because you're like, this isn't a cookie. This is like a cake in cookie form, right? And then they came out with that brownie thing recently. Did you see that? It was like 1,100 calories.
Yeah, the Sunday brownie.
Yeah, and so people were like, what is happening, dude? So
I heard they might go bankrupt, but it's just a rumor.
Jesus, that's sad. Not okay.
I think they expanded too fast.
I do want to say, I think the concept of crumble cookies is really cool, and I think it's been really helpful in like sort of getting more people into your audience. And so like, no hate towards crumble cookies. I've never had it, right? But no hate to them. It's just, I think that you're right. It is a little overrated. Like, people might think, oh man, like these must be really good. And it's like, it's just really sweet cookies.
Yeah. Very easy to get overhyped for them and then try them and be disappointed.
Yeah.
And I also, like, it varies week to week. Some weeks I'm like, yo, if you want to get crumble cookies, this is the week to do it. All these cookies are good. And then there's some weeks where it's like, I ain't even gonna bother. Those all look ass. Or like I've had a few and I know those are ass. The cool thing about insomnia cookies though is like most of them are open till like 2 a.m. Without saying too much info, I did look and you have a bunch around you. So
interesting.
They deliver.
Interesting. Well, they can't deliver
dude,
here.
They taste like yeah, they can.
No,
they
not
taste
here.
like They taste like homemade cookies. They taste like homemade cookies.
I don't know, man. But you also remember, I'm not a cookie guy. Like, cookies are just not really all that much like hype to me.
I'm telling you right now, these cookies are good enough to change your mind.
I'm a savory dude. I don't like sweet stuff that much.
I'm the same way. But insomnia cookies, I won't turn down.
That's what I was gonna say earlier. If they could find a way to make chips like 0 calories that actually taste good, like imagine a 0-calorie Dorito. I mean, holy crap, bro.
I've said for years, I would pay like, I mean, we're talking like borderline rent money or like a car payment. Talking like $400 or $500 a month for a pill that lets me eat another 1,000 calories a day without consequence. 100%.
What's the one that they, like fat people are using to like lose a bunch of weight?
Oh, Ozempic?
Oh, Ozempic. Yeah, wouldn't that? Well, no, Ozempic gets rid of your appetite, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like a hunger suppressant.
Oh, yeah. See, so that's different.
That's what caffeine does, though, man.
Well, that's also what Adderall does, I think.
Yeah, but that's like, I mean, we're getting to like, I mean, Adderall is technically like
it's an
chemical makeup. We're talking like borderline. Which I mean, those.
It's true.
Geez. I think it's time to wrap up the episode. But, yeah, that's another thing. If you're trying to lose weight, one of the other weapons that I have in my toolbox is besides zero sugar stuff, because I really think that if you're trying to lose weight or just trying to maintain a healthy weight, there's no reason to be drinking calories. It's just a stupid way to do it. It doesn't make you feel full.
And also, don't do that stupid crap of like, oh, I'm gonna take laxatives, because that's not good for you.
That's really bad for your colon. People get cancer from that.
Yeah, don't do that. Like some people, they're like, oh, well, you know, it's gonna come just straight out. So it's like, I'm not even. Yeah, it's like, dude, don't do that.
I'm less than 2 years away from my first colonoscopy.
Ew. No, I didn't even know that. I don't think anybody needed to know that, man. Guys, there's going to be doctors digging around in my brother's butthole. All right.
What's your recommendation for the week, man?
Parallel Pipes. That's a YouTube channel that does like iceberg.
My Parallel Pipes.
Yeah, shut up. He does like iceberg videos, but it's if you've ever been like scrolling through TikTok or Instagram Shorts or Instagram Reels, I mean, or YouTube Shorts, where it's like they have the video of some. You good, bro? Of some dude playing like Minecraft. He's doing like parkour or whatever, right? And it'll be like someone's reading like Reddit comments, but it's like an AI. So it's like that style of video, but it's an actual dude going through entries on these icebergs, and it's like an hour to 2 hours long, and he'll talk about like tons of stuff. Like there's one where it was like the weird guns iceberg, and it's like he was talking about like, or maybe it was weird weapons or something like that. But he was talking about like I think he brought up like Killdozer or something like that. Like stuff like that is what he brings up. So it's those kinds of
crazy story.
There's one, my favorite is the Google Maps iceberg, where it's talking about just like weird stuff you can find on Google Maps. And I was like, this is like a really cool topic. Like talking about zones where it's just like blurred out because they can't show it. Like that kind of stuff's really cool to me, and I think his style of videos is really good. And he posts like once every 4 months. So when something comes out, you're like, oh yes, like, yeah. So I really like that channel a lot. So go check out Parallel Pipes.
You guys already know my recommendation. Pollo Loco's out. If you've already seen it, watch it again. Watch it 3 times. I'm telling you, it's one of those films that I wrote it in mind that like I've always been a fan of M. Night Shyamalan because his films are so rewatchable. You can go back and like things that felt weird at first feel like they have more context to them when you rewatch it. And I mean, there's so many things in Pollo Loco where it's like if you know the full story, you go back and watch it, and you're like, oh, this all lines up. This is like the characters are motivated. Somebody was like, literally all the complaints that I've heard, I think, are stylistic choices, and it's like, not everybody's gonna like your style, so I'm totally fine with that. Somebody commented, they're like, keep trying, bro. It's not great. And I'm like, for my first film, I will definitely take not great. Thank you.
Well, the fact that he said keep trying means he's like, I see the potential, but this one's not it.
It definitely seemed like this person was trying to put me down.
Yeah, I know. But like that's like the weirdest way to answer. Keep trying.
Yeah, it was like negging. But anyways, Guys, seriously, word of mouth is the key here. Like it's just like going to see an indie film and you're like, holy shit, why are people not talking about this? Yeah, like somebody said, and it really like brought tears to my eyes. They said it's like watching an icon in the making. And I was like, an icon? That is like, that's very flattering. I don't think of myself like that at all. But I like, as an artist, like an artist in the making, like I think that's a good way to like think about it. That is literally what it is. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I went into that film having no clue what I was doing. And we filmed it almost in order. And so watching that film, except for I think maybe the last scene because we had some audio issues, like where we had to use the lav mics instead of the boom mic. And when I make my feature film, I'm gonna be like, we are using the boom mic for like the boom mic audio better be good enough to use for everything because otherwise we're gonna have to do ADR. And lav mics almost always sound like shit because they're like hidden under clothing, and so they're like muffled because of that. And you get some of that towards the end of Pollo Loco where it's like there's some voiceover where I'm like, man, maybe we should ADR'd that. But anyways,
anytime somebody says boom, I think, is it a boom or a doom?
boom. Yeah, let me know if Pollo Loco's a boom or a doom on letterbox and IMDb. That's another way. But guys, share it with your friends and family. Like I said, even if you go, you remember that fucking crumble cookie guy? Look at this shit. Can you believe that? That's the same guy. Like, watch it. Like I said, watch it every day. I don't like. Just keep watching it. Get that viewership time up, and the algorithm will pick it up. Because that's been my experience in the past, and it is on track to be picked up by the algorithm. Because when it comes to long form videos, YouTube really cares about the longevity of it. I mean, we're talking about like videos like this can get 1 million views over the course of like 5 years. You know what I mean? And like that is huge.
So, but really quick,
word of mouth.
For context, so when we started, the Pollo Loco was at what? He said it was like 4.56 or something like that. It's at 4.84 right now. So it has gone up quite a bit, and it's been 1 hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we're gonna pass that 5,100 view mark before the 24-hour mark, which makes it our top performing video ever in the first 24 hours. So keep it going, guys. Like I said, people are gonna be like, I'm unfollowing this guy because he won't shut up about this goddamn short film. That's what I gotta do. That's the indie filmmaker grind. Please don't hate me for it. Like I said, if you want me to shut up about it, get it to 100,000 views as quick as possible because that's the goal. Thank you so much for all the love for the film. Like, it is a filmmaker's dream to have the first film get the reception that this one is. Leave me a review on Letterboxd and IMDb, even if you say, hey, fuckhead, this movie sucks. I don't care, man. Like, it's still a number
this movie's a doom.
That we can take the producers and go, look, these people watched it. Yeah, it's a doom. I'd rather have a double chunk chocolate cookie than watch this shit again. But you're literally watching a group of filmmakers learn how to walk, is the way that I put it. Yeah. And with this feature film, I'm quite literally going to be running. Like I'm training for running every day because the film has a lot of running in it. So it is it's a military action drama is the way that I can describe it. And this Pollo Loco is a dramatic crime thriller. So even if you're like, I don't know, I don't watch short films, I've never seen a short film before, go check it out, please. If there's anything I could ask for in like my entire life, it would be go watch this film. So thank you for doing that, and continue to support it. It means the world to me, guys. Literally, like last night, I just was like staring, like answering comments, just like tears in my eyes. Like the film works, you know, and that's the dream. But that's it, guys. I will see you on the other side of Joker 2. Buy some G Fuel, join the Patreon, get you some Fit Butters, watch Pollo Loco to your heart's content, throw tomatoes at it, whatever you feel it deserves, and we'll see you next week. Much love.
Peace.